Hi, I thought I would do another video for you guys this time. I'm still using the select and mask and then clipping some images to this chair that, maybe I wanted to play around with textiles or, any pattern that you might want to put on this chair, but most importantly, introducing blending modes a little more because with the fingernail demo, it just wasn't really a lot for you to see in terms of blending modes, and I wanted you to see that, what they are and how great they are, actually. And so instead of you watching me load an image and all that, I know you know at this point what you're doing with this is I've selected, and you're noticing here that I have only selected a piece. Um, and that is because I'm going to clip some images to this, and I'm going to have to adjust it to the direction and the perspective of the chair. So instead of just taking one big image and plopping it on, I'm actually going to do it in sections. So that way I'll be able to kind of manipulate it and make it look a little more believable. And like I said, we'll get into more advanced stuff, but this is a way right now to do it. So I'm just going to start with the back of the chair first. And so I've selected it, and then I'm going to come over, and like I said, output now is new layer, not selection. I want a new layer so I can clip an image to it. So I hit OK, and here it is. I can see that looks like it's not the dirt of my computer. Okay. There's some images that the computer had started, and I went in and hand painted it out. And I want to clean this up a little, so I'm going to grab my eraser, which is right here. Or if you hit E, it's the eraser as well. And you're going to see right here, I want to erase that out. And then right here, it looks like there's a little something. And if you ever, it's hard to see on a transparent layer, but if you ever need to this and you're having a hard time seeing, add a new layer, put it underneath and fill it with a color, and then you'll easily be able to see where you need to clean up. So what I'm going to do now is, this is actually, I mean, it's pretty light to begin with, but I could even take this further, and what I could do is go to Image, Adjustments, and then turn it into a black and white, and hit OK. So remove all the color out of it, so then the image I'm going to use will be there. But also too, with the adjustments, maybe I want to play around with brightness and contrast. So maybe I want to brighten it up just a little and give it a little more contrast for shadow. Maybe, so every image is going to be different. So take that and do this for me, and this will take the color out. I'm happy with that, so I'm like, okay. Now what I'm going to do is, I've got this image up here, and let me hit V. I've got this image, so what I'm going to do is pull this in, and I'm going to scale it down using Command T, and maybe I want it something like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it, and it doesn't fit, which I'm very aware of. And I'm going to rotate it so kind of these lights go with the perspective a little bit of the sofa, kind of like this. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to duplicate the layer, Command J, or hold the Alt key and drag, and then try to line these up a little. Now if you notice, there's a real dark line because this is the darker side of the image. So what I can do is actually hit Command T and then rotate it, and then bring the lighter side over, hit enter, and that helps a little, and then you overlap it, but I just want to make sure that it's covered, that part is covered through here. Maybe I'll do something like this. And okay, so now what I'm going to do is, with this, I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to do a layer mat or clip. So hold the Alt key and then clip that image onto that piece of sofa. Go to this one, do the same thing, and now it's clipped on there. What I can do is use some blending tools to help kind of smooth this out a little, but it might go away a little when we do the next thing. So the next thing is like, well, we've lost all the shadow and this is flat and two-dimensional. So these are the blending modes. So go through these and play with them. The one I like to use a lot is multiply, and I think you can see why. And then I'm going to do this and do multiply, but what you're also seeing is that I'm going to need to move this because of that. So I'm going to come over here and use the V tool, and on this image, let me unclip it. So you can unclip images just like you clipped them. Now using V, move tool, I'm going to move this just like that, and now clip it back again. and I have that. So I'm able to clip that part to the sofa. Let's turn the sofa on. And so now I've got that part done. And so this is how you can start to see that you can start clipping things to images. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to select out the sofa. And so instead of you having to watch me do all of that work, I'm going to go ahead and pause it, do it, and then I'll be right back. Okay? Hi, so here I am again. So what I've done is I've gone back in and selected out the cushion, as you can see here, and I'm going to turn off that layer. And as you input it back into the document on a new layer, it automatically turns off that original. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to do the same thing we did on the top. Is I'm going to go to adjustments and I'm going to turn it to black and white and get any of the color out of it. And then what I'm going to do is go back to image and adjustments. Last time I played with brightness, maybe do that again in contrast to get some good shadows, brightness maybe here. No, but you know, and there's no science to, you just do it till it works for the image you are working with. I wanted a little bit of shadow to work with. I'm gonna hit OK, but also there are other things I could play with. So I just used brightness and contrast. I wanted to show you exposure, so we can go to exposure, and it's another way to, woohoo, no, 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 no. But as you can see, you can play. And you can also type things in here. So if you want to go back to 0 and you just can't get it, which I never can by using these, you know, levers, and so I just hit 0 and it goes back. And then gamma, you know, so that's another way to adjust. And so you can go up there and play. And let's say I'm happy with that. So then what I'm going to do is actually go back up to here. And what I'm going to do with that image is I'm going to take that and make a duplicate layer of it, and it is not clipped, and bring this down in my layers until it is on top of my seat, which is there, and this is where it helps to actually write what things are, right? So let's do this, seat back. And then let's do cushion top. And so on and so on. So I've got this down here, and what I, like I said again, I would suggest is maybe just making layers and layers of this. What I might also do is take this, and you can select it, copy, and open it in a new one and always have it. So however you want to do it, but I want to keep the same one because it's sized exactly the way I want it. So I'm going to bring this one down, and then with Command T, I'm going to rotate it to where perspective it is working for me here. Maybe I want to do something like that and bring it down more this way. Just playing with the arrows a little. It's okay for me to stretch it a little like this because I'm just looking for the perspective. So, and you can see right here, the perspective I'm referring to are the lines in the twinkle lights. So I'm just going to adjust it just like this. Now I've lost it over there, so let me pull it in a little. And so you just kind of finagle, maneuver, get it the way you want. All right. I know, bear with me. There weren't enough lines and lights in that one, so I'm going to move it just a little. And then you can finesse it with the arrows on your keyboard if you want. I might stretch it out just a little more. Okay, so I have it the way I want. Hit return, and now I'm going to clip this one to the seat top that way. And so then I can go back and turn on my chair layer like that, and then I can continue, and as you see across the top, you know, I've got lines, and this may not come across and read so much because this one is, you know, very light, but you can see it, so the lines going this way, And then across the seat, if you notice perspective, it's going at this angle. So what I'm trying to do is keep the perspective of the lines on the twinkle lights going at the same angle as that we see here. And so for this, and let's say that's the only part I do, or you do the whole chair, you can just completely go through and do a section at a time and clip and go and clip and go if you wanted to do something like that. Now what I wanted to show you is that, like, maybe you think this is too dark, or maybe you want it darker. So what you can do is go here, and this is the layer I clipped to the cushion top since we named it. And now I'm going to do Command J, and let's do this. Cushion top, and duplicate that. Maybe I wanted it darker or more bright or something along those lines. So I do another layer of multiply and then just hold the Alt key and clip that one. And then I'm able to make it a little darker. And then maybe I want to do the same thing here. So Command J and then Alt key, clip, and then go up here, Command J, Alt key, clip, and I'm able to make it darker. But maybe your problem was it was too dark and you wanted it light. So what you can do is, on the one that I just darkened, on top of that one, what I can do is do screen and see how light that one is. And then I'm going to go on the one down here and do screen on top of that. So now I have two layer masks. One is multiply. Go here and show you. Here's my seat back. Now I've got one here, and if you go here, it's on multiply. If you go here, it's on screen, and it's the duplicate of each. So what I can do on screen now is go to my opacity and lower it, and so maybe I get it somewhere in between. And that's what it was before. Maybe I want it like that. But just letting you know that you can continue to play with these. Honestly, I kind of like it just with the multiply. So let me go back and find my screen. There it is, right here on that layer. Delete it. And then same thing, cushion top. And here is my multiply. This is my multiple. I haven't changed that one yet to screen. So what I'm going to do on this one, but also too, before we delete, the only way you're going to know what these things do is to play with them. So go on top, and obviously that one's not going to be appropriate for this. Let's do an overlay. And I'll get more in these, hard light. Some of them are very subtle. Pin light, you could do something along those lines and see the difference. A pin light, I kind of like the pin light. Ooh, yeah, it really brightens it, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do here is go back, and and that's pin light on top of multiply. I'm going to show you what pin light does just on its own. Where did we go? Oh. And there it is. So that's a little too harsh. So you really do need that multiply first. So I've got this. Once again, Command J. I'm going to clip it to this. Now I'm going to change that one to pin light. Why can't I? It's right there every time. Pin light, and then just to show you down here, this is the seat back. Here is the first layer here, which is multiply. Then I did another layer of pin light. Go up here. Here is this other side. So what I need to do is duplicate this, Command J, and then go and hold the Alt key and clip it. Then go up here and do pin light on top of that. And now I have this, but now what you can do, like I said, you can keep playing around. We've lost shadows with pin light, and so it's manipulating and maneuvering, and so maybe bringing the pin light down to 60, and then I can also, there's all kind of options. So let's say I take the pin light back up, but part of this is not being overwhelmed by this, but just actually being curious is what I want you to do, is be curious and see what you can do. There are no rules. So I'm going to take the seat back, and then I'm going to duplicate that layer as well and see if that helps with making this. So we have the seat back here, and having all of these clipped to that. So we can also Command Z and see if this, I can go back to the seat back now. that I have the pen light, go back to image adjustments, and then maybe this is where I might want to play with levels and come over to the levels and get in here and play with light and dark with the levels and trying to play with shadow, cancel. That probably wasn't the one I wanted to use. I'm going to go back, maybe do exposure again. Maybe something like that. Then adjustments. And then what I might do is go over here, take this layer, select all, which is A, copy, then go on top of all of these and paste. And now on this one, do another multiply. Oh, my battery's going down just in time. And so then I was able to darken it, and I think that is the solution to this. So what I've done here is I've gone in and put that layer, seat back, I've duplicated, and then put on top of all of my clippings, and then I did one more multiply of that, and I was able to get this great shadow. So with that, my computer's about to die, so I will do another video with some other objects just to kind of help you get through some of this. Okay?